Here are the top stories for today, March 30, 2020. 8 passengers die as a medevac plane bound for Japan explodes at NAIA. The Health Department provides more PPEs and medical supplies to different health facilities. Hospital officials in Tacurong City condemn the attack on a health worker. And the Bangsamoro region experiences peace a year after receiving autonomy. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. A medical evacuation plane bound for Haneda, Japan exploded while taking off at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport on Sunday night. The incident involving a West Wind 24 aircraft took place around 8 p.m. at the end of runway 24. Fire and rescue teams were immediately dispatched to the site. The medevac plane bound for Haneda, Japan exploded while taking off at NAIA around 8 p.m. on Sunday. The plane was carrying 6 Filipino crew and 2 foreign nationals as passengers. All 8 passengers did not survive the accident. The NAIA runway was reopened for operation before 5 a.m. on Monday, following the temporary closure to conduct investigations. A total of 1 million pesos will be given to all health workers who die while fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. Under Republic Act 11469 or Bayanihan to Heal as One Act, PhilHealth will assure that the service of health workers in the public and private sector will be recognized amid the government's efforts to combat the deadly virus. PhilHealth will also give 100,000 pesos to all health workers and public and private sectors who contract severe COVID-19 infection while they are in the line of duty. This provision has a retroactive application from February 1st, 2020. Meanwhile, Senator Christopher Bongo suggested that the government can maximize volunteer health workers by engaging them on the basis of contracts of service similar to job orders. This way, he said, they can be compensated on a daily rate for a limited time period equivalent or close to the amount received by actual government self-employed health workers. Senator Christopher Lawrence Bongo also urged the DOH to equip the health workers with the much-needed tools and protection to do their jobs. He said the Senate pushed for the passage of the Bayanihan to Heal as One Act to grant special authority to President Duterte to use the government's funds to help and increase the frontliners fighting COVID-19 outbreak. Around 18 million poor families in Luzon will receive the monthly emergency subsidy for 2 months. Under the Bayanihan to Heal as One Act, 18 million low-income households affected by the Luzon-wide enhanced community quarantine will receive financial assistance worth between 5,000 and 8,000 pesos. The social amelioration program is based on the maximum subsidy per region determined from the region's minimum wage levels. It will be given to an eligible family in cash and in kind by various national government agencies. A social amelioration card that captures the family profile will be distributed to the LGUs to enable the beneficiaries to access the assistance. It will also serve as a monitoring tool to avoid duplication of delivery of services. Some critics claimed that the latest number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the country show that the enhanced community quarantine is ineffective in flattening the curve. Malacanang believes otherwise, saying COVID-19 cases would have increased further had President Duterte failed to impose a Luzon-wide enhanced community quarantine. According to presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo, placing Luzon under enhanced community quarantine until April 12 was necessary to stop the spread of COVID-19. He said the number of the COVID-19 cases could have been staggering had the enhanced community quarantine or partial lockdown not been imposed. Panelo said there were a few reported confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the past 2 weeks due to a lack of testing kits to detect the infectious disease. Panelo assured the public that the government is doing everything to address the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. Malacanang on Sunday condemned the violation of the ceasefire declaration after a clash broke out between government troops and communist rebels in Rodriguez, Rizal. A soldier and an NPA gunman were killed when a Philippine Army Community Support Program team and communist insurgents clashed in Barangay Puray in Rodriguez, Rizal on Saturday. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said the attack launched by members of the New People's Army show their insincerity in declaring a ceasefire due to COVID-19 pandemic. He said the communist rebels show disregard for people's welfare by placing civilians in danger and disrupting the implementation of the enhanced community quarantine in that area. He also praised the country's armed forces' readiness to defend themselves from attack despite the truce in place. The Philippine National Police said curfew violators will still be arrested. Meanwhile, the Office of Civil Defense distribute more PPEs and medical supplies. More on these and other efforts of the government from Janice Cave.
The Philippine National Police on Sunday said curfew violators during the Luzon-wide enhanced community quarantine will still face arrest and possible prosecution. Lieutenant General Guillermo Eliazar earlier announced that police will not arrest violators, but charges will be filed. However, he said they are also considering the appeal of the local government units not to be lenient on curfew violators, citing their own dilemma in convincing constituents to follow the ECQ imposed in the entire Luzon. Meanwhile, the Office of Civil Defense has started distributing personal protective equipment, face masks, and boxes of bottled water to various hospitals in Metro Manila. The OCD gave 5,000 surgical masks to the East Avenue Medical Center and Philippine Children's Medical Center, both in Quezon City, while 595 masks were delivered to Dr. Jose Rodriguez Memorial Hospital and Sanitarium in Caloocan City last March 26. On March 27, the Veterans Memorial Medical Center, also in Quezon City, received 100 coverall suits, 500 surgical masks, and 10 boxes of bottled water from the agency. The OCD also handed out 400 surgical masks and 100 coverall suits to Camp General Emilio Aguinaldo Station Hospital in Quezon City on the same date. On March 28, the agency handed 5,000 surgical masks and 50 coverall suits to Philippine Heart Center in Quezon City, and another 2,000 surgical masks, 595 masks, 100 coverall suits, and 175 bottled water were given to Lung Center of the Philippines in Quezon City. Meanwhile, 10,000 surgical masks and 250 coverall suits were provided to Philippine General Hospital in Manila. The OCD reminded the public to observe social distancing, stay at home, do frequent hand washing, and follow other advisories of the authorities. In other news, the release of funds for the Tertiary Education Subsidy Program to grantees in state universities and colleges and CHED-recognized local universities and colleges for academic year 2019-2020 will continue amid the quarantine due to the coronavirus pandemic. CHED has released its funds to 51 SUCs and LUCs and will continue downloading the subsidy even during the enhanced community quarantine caused by the pandemic. The subsidy per student amounts to 40,000 pesos per school year for their books, school supplies, food, and transportation expenses. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Still to come, hospital officials in Tacurong City condemned the attack on a health worker. And several hospitals in North Cotabato get weekly supply of free lechon manok. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Sa matinding laban natin sa Coronavirus Disease 2019, sugpuin din natin ang pagkalat ng fake news. Huwag magbahagi ng impormasyon na hindi tiyak ang pinagmulan. I-check mabuti ang source ng balita. Kumuha lamang ng impormasyon mula sa mga official channel ng Department of Health. Huwag magpadala sa maling balita, basta't sama-sama at laging handa. Kaya natin to. Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Tandaan ang tamang paraan ng paghuhugas at paglilinis ng kamay upang makaiwas sa iba't ibang karamdaman. Basain ng tubig ang mga kamay at sabunin. Huwag magpadala sa maling balita, basta't sama-sama at laging handa. Kaya natin to. Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Tandaan ang tamang paraan ng paghuhugas at paglilinis ng kamay upang makaiwas sa iba't ibang karamdaman. Basain ng tubig ang mga kamay at sabunin. Unang sabunin ang mga palad at ang likod ng mga kamay. Kuskusin na maigi ang pagitan ng mga daliri at maging ang mga kuko. Isunod ang pagitan ng mga hinlalaki at kuskusin ng paikot ang mga dulo ng mga daliri sa magkabilang palad. Banlawang mabuti ang mga kamay sa malinis na tubig at patuyuin ang mga kamay gamit ang single-use towel o air dryer. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Pangalagaan ang sarili laban sa Coronavirus Disease 2019. Hanggat maaari, umiwas sa mataong lugar. Iwasang hawakan ang ilong at bibig, maging malinis sa katawan at ugaliin ang wastong paghuhugas ng kamay. Takpan ang ilong at bibig kung uubo o babahing. Umiwas sa mga taong nagpapakita ng sintomas ng coronavirus disease gaya ng lagnat, ubo at sipon. Magsuot ng face mask kung kinakailangan. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa. Kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
Hospital officials in Tacurong City, Sultan Kudarat on Saturday condemned the attack on one of its frontliners against COVID-19 who was splashed with disinfectant. In a statement released late Saturday, officials of St. Louis Hospital condemned the attackers who also insulted the victim as they poured the hospital worker's face and body with disinfectant. The worker was beside the highway waiting for the van that will bring him from President Quirino Town to Tacurong when attacked on March 27. The suspect splashed bleach all over his face, which could have caused permanent damage to his eyes. Officials say the frontliners remain unfazed by the discrimination that they face daily, but they appealed to all to stop the violence so that caring for the sick could proceed unhampered. The police in President Quirino Town are still investigating the incident. In a separate statement, the Department of Health on Sunday condemned the acts of physical assault, harassment, and discrimination against frontliners. This as they received reports that healthcare workers are refused access to basic services, blocked and fined at checkpoints, or evicted from their homes. The DOH appealed for the public to extend understanding and compassion to frontliners as it assured that they are taking steps to prevent infection. The Bicol region reported its fourth COVID-19 case as an Albay resident who arrived from Manila showed symptoms of the disease. More on this and other news from the provinces from Laid Cabagani.
A 60-year-old female from Albay province was the fourth person who tested positive for the coronavirus disease. A day after 3 persons in Bicol region were confirmed by the Department of Health to be infected with the virus. The COVID-19 patient arrived in Albay from Manila last March 10. On March 20, she submitted herself for a check-up after experiencing symptoms of the disease. The COVID Bicol tracker indicated that of 4 reported cases as of March 28, Albay has 3 and Camarines Sur has 1. Meanwhile, Rudy de Mesa, City Administrator of Balanga City in Bataan, died due to the coronavirus disease. De Mesa, a former provincial administrator of Bataan, died last Friday at a hospital in Pampanga. Governor Albert Garcia, chair of the Bataan Interagency Task Force on COVID-19, has asked all those who came in contact with De Mesa to undergo self-quarantine. In North Cotabato, the staff of several hospitals will receive from the Chief of the Mindanao Development Authority 5 free lechon manok or roasted chicken weekly starting Sunday, March 29. In his Facebook post on Sunday, Minda Secretary Emmanuel Piñol said his treat to medical workers is his modest gestures of support to the frontliners in the fight against COVID-19. Piñol said these hospitals were selected based on reports that they received patients showing symptoms of COVID-19 like cough and high fever. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Laid Cabagani.
With the continuing spread of COVID-19, hospitals in northern Mindanao are gearing up to contain the disease and treat cases that may come their way. Rechi Paculba has the story.
In responding to coronavirus disease or COVID-19 threats in the region, Dr. Adriano Soban of Department of Health Center for Health Development Northern Mindanao urges all hospitals to create their guidelines in staff management, including their workflow, infection control, and health management plan.
Ang Northern Mindanao Medical Center wala gi-lockdown. but we prepared the hospital for any type of eventualities.
He said DOH-10 met with the heads of private hospitals here to create a system wherein all patients with other cases aside from COVID-19 will be attended to. Doing so will allow health workers of NMMC provide quality service to patients with COVID-19 symptoms.
Ang atong Northern Mindanao Medical Center is now our referral hospital for COVID-19 cases or those merong severe acute respiratory infection.
Furthermore, the local government units are enjoined to identify, assess, and convert viable public spaces as treatment or isolation areas. Such include auditoriums, gymnasiums, classrooms, or vacant hotels. As of March 26, DOH-CHDNM has recorded 252 persons under investigation, of which 24 are admitted and 39 are already tested negative and discharged. About 119 PUIs are on home quarantine, where 64 have already completed the quarantine. Also, the region has 3,993 persons under monitoring, of which 2,238 are undergoing the 14-day home quarantine and 1,755 have completed the quarantine period. For the PNA Newsroom, Retchi Paculba, Philippine Information Agency, Cagayan de Oro.
And in our business news, some 55 business process outsourcing offices are complying with Mayor Sara Duterte's directive to contain the spread of COVID-19. The Davao City BPO 2019 Coronavirus Disease Task Force said the BPOs have transitioned to work from home arrangement or on-site as long as they maintain a skeletal workforce. They will also provide accommodation and shuttle services to their employees. All of the compliant BPOs are registered under the Philippine Economic Zone Authority or PEZA. The BPO COVID-19 Task Force said all BPOs are also required to submit detailed contingency plans for reference and guidance during monitoring. Meanwhile, the task force said 14 BPOs have indicated they will temporarily close during the community quarantine. Up next, the AFP refuses to dignify claims by the CPPNPA of military losses in 2019. And the Bangsamoro region experienced peace a year after receiving autonomy. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Alamin kung paano ang tamang pagsusuot ng surgical mask. Una, hawakan ang mask sa strap at siguruhing natatakpan nito ang inyong bibig at ilong. Tandaan, ang may kulay na bahagi ng mask ang dapat nasa labas. Ito lamang ang tamang paraan ng pagsuot nito. Ihulma ang nose piece o maliit na metallic strip ayon sa hugis ng inyong ilong. Iwasan ang paghawak sa inyong ilong at bibig. Kung marumi na ang mask, hubarin ito gamit ang strap at itapon ito sa isang basurahan. Siguruhin ang maayos na paghuhugas ng kamay gamit ang sabon at tubig. Ang surgical mask ay dapat gamitin ng mga pasyenteng may sakit sa baga o mga taong mayroong ubo, sipon at lagnat, mga nag-aalaga sa mga may sakit, at mga healthcare at frontline workers. Maaari ring magsuot nito kung kayo ay pupunta sa matataong lugar. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Alamin ang tamang paraan ng pag-ubo upang mapigilan ang paglaganap ng Coronavirus Disease 2019. Ugaliing magdala ng panyo o tissue. Kung uubo o babahing, takpan ang buong ilong at bibig gamit ang panyo o tissue. Kung walang dalang panyo o tissue, maaaring gamitin ang braso na pantakip. Kung nakararamdam na kailangan umubo o bumahing, agad na dumistansya sa mga tao sa paligid. Huwag dumura kung saan-saan, gumamit ng tissue at itapon sa basurahan. Ugaliin ang paghuhugas ng kamay at paggamit ng alcohol o hand sanitizer upang mamatay ang mikrobyo. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Alamin ang mga dapat gawin sa lugar ng trabaho laban sa Coronavirus Disease 2019. Ang mga kumpanya ay dapat magbigay ng face mask sa kanilang mga empleyado. Bukod dito, magbigay kaalaman din patungkol sa COVID-19. Siguraduhing malinis ang kapaligiran. Maglagay ng sabon at hand sanitizer sa mga palikuran. Siguraduhing ligtas at nalutong maigi ang mga pagkain sa kantina. Obserbahan ang kalusugan ng mga empleyado at katrabaho. Kung sakali man na mayroon silang sintomas ng coronavirus disease, gaya ng lagnat, ubot sipon at hirap sa paghinga, ay agad ipasuri sa doktor. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines will not dignify the Communist Party of the Philippines New People's Army's claim that they have inflicted over 1,000 casualties to the military in 2019. AFP spokesperson Edgar Arevalo said the CPPNPA's claims are just whistling in the dark, if not daydreaming. He said no one believes them but their own. He noted that 40 are their regulars and Miliciang Bayan surrendered to government troops just a day before their 51st founding anniversary on March 29. Meanwhile, the military is assisting the government on containing the spread of COVID-19. Southern Luzon Command Chief Antonio Parlade Jr. said efforts will continue to protect the country against what he calls the CPPNPA virus. Parlade made the statement following the death of National Military Commission head and overall CPPNPA chairperson Julio Quiron, along with two others in an operation in Baguio City on March 13. He added that CSON should start explaining how the CPPNPA-NDF defrauded the United Nations, European Union, and several international organizations, especially during times of crisis. The Philippine Air Force transported 31 boxes of assorted personal protective equipment to Iloilo International Airport on Saturday. The PPE came from the Office of the Presidential Assistant for the Visayas and donated to the Western Visayas Medical Center in Iloilo City. According to PAF, as of March 27, it ferried a total number of 75,766 pounds of PPE and medical supplies. The military also transports COVID-19 test kits and specimens. The Department of Health reports it has distributed additional protective gear and other supplies to health facilities to protect the country's frontline health workers fighting the deadly coronavirus disease. Based on its daily distribution report on March 26, among the equipment handed out by the DOH are over 140,000 surgical masks, over 16,000 N95 masks, as well as gloves, isolation gowns, coveralls, and personal protective equipment suits. It also distributed alcohol, aprons, bottled water, disinfectant powder, face shields, goggles, head covers, and shoe covers. On Saturday, some 40,000 COVID-19 testing kits and 6 ventilators from Singapore arrived in the country. In a simple turnover ceremony, Chief of Presidential Protocol and Presidential Assistant on Foreign Affairs Robert E. A. Borge received the donations from Singapore Ambassador Gerard Ho. The Bureau of Customs on Saturday cleared the kits and ventilators for immediate turnover to the DOH for distribution to frontline hospitals. The Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao celebrated its first anniversary on Sunday. After a long struggle for freedom, Muslims, Christians, and other minorities show the world how people can live in peace. The Bangsamoro Muslims were granted autonomy after historic referenda held on January 21 and February 6. In an exclusive interview with Anadolu Agency, Omar Kesmen, the representative of the Istanbul-based Humanitarian Relief Foundation in Bangsamoro, said all ethnic and religious groups in the region learned to live side by side after the referendum. Kesmen attributed this to the understanding of war and sensitivity that were shown by Hashim Salamat, the late leader of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front during the conflict. Thanks to the peace, most people started to tend to trade and education and make use of the region's rich natural resources. Kesmen said locals hope for financial assistance from the international community, especially Turkey and other Muslim countries. Citing the words of Haji Murad, Kesmen said, While the struggle for independence was made by past generations, the children of those who are not in the struggle will rule this state in the future. And here's another look at today's biggest stories. 8 passengers die as a medevac plane bound for Japan explodes at NAIA. The health department provides more PPEs and medical supplies to different health facilities. Hospital officials in Tacurong City condemn the attack on a health worker. And the Bangsamoro region experiences peace a year after receiving autonomy. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out more news content, check our webpage or head onto the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And as we pass the second week of our enhanced community quarantine, and as of the moment, there is still no official cure for the virus, we urge everybody to follow strict government protocols and also to pray, because as of the moment, this is pretty much all we can do to help each other get better. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day.